Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's fourth video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's fourth video. Day 10 is going to take us to a 26th of December to Boxing Day. And we'll be able to extend out beyond that with extended GFS and ECM ensembles. They run around a couple of weeks. And how long at CFS-E2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. That's going to get us well into January. So I shall get on with that for you very shortly. Just say that the first video they say was our 7 AM upload. We've also released European Outlook and we've verified the autumn forecast, so check out those 3 videos if you would like to do that. Thank you so much, everyone. We are so close now to 12.9k. Got to put on around about 4 subscribers. That's all to get ourselves to 12,900 subs. Please give us a sub. Tell friends and family to subscribe as well. Get us 12,900 subscribers. When we get to that, we will start taking people's names for our £30 Amazon voucher prize draw when we hit 13k. So we're going to give away a £30 Amazon voucher for 13k, for 13k, £30, 13k. You see what I mean? And we'll be doing that as soon as we hit 13,000 subscribers. Just another 100 and a bit to go. So please give us a sub. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Tell friends, family to subscribe as well. It's amazing. It's incredible. Thank you so much, everyone, for all of the support and for getting us this far. Right, so let's just start off with the stratosphere. I just want to show you the latest GFS forecast for stratospheric temperatures over North Pole at 10 HPA for the next couple of weeks. So we're starting off at the moment looking quite cold with both stratospheric temperatures. Got these blue and purple colours in. Temperature around minus 18. Also over the North Pole, colder than that on our side of the North Pole at 10 HPA in the stratosphere. Right, so we go through the next few days. We are going to see a warming gathering over Siberia. It's not a sudden stratospheric warming, but it is a significant warming of the stratosphere that is occurring there over Siberia running up to Christmas. That's Christmas Eve, actually, with those green and yellow colours. That is sort of displacing the polar vortex at its roots, these blue colours, a little bit towards the Atlantic and Greenland side of the pole, actually. So it is moving polar vortex a little bit in the stratosphere, albeit, you know, not in any way sort of damaging it, really, perhaps weakening it slightly, but overall, that is a modest warming, but it's, you know, it's sustained over Siberia over several days. Now, we run into the extended range. You see that warming actually continuing over Siberia. This takes us post-Christmas to 27th of December. Again, it is falling short of like a sudden stratospheric warming. So it's not going up to that sort of level, but it is a significant warming of the stratosphere. Again, that is displacing polar vortex at its roots, more towards the Canadian side of Greenland. So there is a lift up in the temperatures going on over the North Pole itself, which is somewhere around there, around minus 80 to around minus 60. Again, it's not sudden stratospheric warming, but it is a warming of the stratosphere and enough to start moving polar vortex at its roots towards the Canadian side of Greenland. But look what happens to get to the very end. And the GFS has been showing this for quite a few days on and off. A major, well, not a major one, but a significant one starts to take place over America, which is quite unusual to see warming, a stratospheric warming starting over America. And that's going to gather pace further as we run on towards the beginning of January over America and moving in towards Canada and also the North Atlantic. Could that be the beginnings of a sudden stratospheric warming? I wonder, but it is quite unusual for a sudden stratospheric warming to happen over America and Canada. By the way, this is not a Canadian warming. I think some people get a bit confused between sudden stratospheric warmings and Canadian warming. So Canadian warming, CWs, are at 30 HPA, lower down towards the troposphere, not 10 HPA, and may happen early in the winter, usually in November, occasionally in December, but by the time you get through to January, really you don't get Canadian warmings. However, this is a sudden stratospheric warming that's happening over America and Canada, or this is a major warming. It's not yet a sudden stratospheric warming at that point, but it is a major warming of the stratosphere that is occurring over America and Canada. So I suppose I see why some people might be terming this a Canadian warming, but you know, the terminology is not quite correct. This is a major warming of the stratosphere, not yet a sudden stratospheric warming, but might go in that direction that's happening over America and Canada. As I say, it's quite an unusual place for this to occur. I will, when I get a bit of time, go back through the archives and see the years that had this. I think we had it in 1984, 85, possibly 1990, 1991. That winter had it as well. So I'll have a look back anyway. It's quite an unusual place, both America and Canada and the North Atlantic, to get a warming of the stratosphere going, especially a southern stratospheric warming. Normally they happen from Siberia in to the pole rather than like America, Canada, Atlantic in. Anyway, I'll have a look and I'll update everybody about that in maybe on Saturdays. In Saturday's videos, we'll see. Right, so that's brought you up to date with that. Now, let's just have a quick look at central temperature. CT is continuing to rise. It's now up to 6.3 degrees. I have not got my highlighter ready, so I'm going to pause the video and get my highlighter up. Okay, highlighter is ready. And it's been one of those mornings today, very busy morning. So, we're currently standing at 6.3, which is around 1.5 degrees above the 61.99 average. That is provisional to the 15th of December. I think that's about as high as it's going to get. It's a little bit chillier today, and I think temperatures will generally be starting to drop and fall away as we go through into the weekend. So that's probably about as high as it gets. It might just get 6.5. It might do when it updates tomorrow. That would be about as high as it gets, but it will gradually start to level off and slowly reduce. And of course, we're waiting to see, you know, what happens as we go towards the Christmas period and beyond, whether we get some significantly cold weather. If we do, then we'll have a collapse of the CET. But we've got to wait and see a few more days where things are going with that. By the way, interesting news from the UK Met yesterday. They're going to stop using 61 to 1990 in January, I think, and they'll be moving on to 91 to 20 averages. So, from January, we should see that, you know, we have a new average to compare to, and a more modern average as well, rather than the old and cold 61 to 90 temperature average, which of course encompasses a much colder era, particularly the 1960s, which was a very, very cold decade for both winters and summers as well. So we should be moving on to 91 to 20 averages with this when we get into January, which will be interesting to see. I would suspect we'll have far fewer above average temperature months, but we'll see how that works out. Going to be an interesting change, interesting difference. These anomalies won't make any difference to the overall monthly CTs, of course. They'll still be, you know, whatever they are, but it will make a difference to the anomalies here, this section of the table. So that's going to be an interesting change to see what happens when we get into January with that. UK Met announced that yesterday. Right, these are GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're at Pembroke today. This is a suggested location for this part of the video. Red light is 30-year upper air temperature average for Pembroke. We're starting off significantly above average with those upper air temperatures at the moment. They're going to be gradually reducing over the next few days, so by the time we get through to the run up to Christmas, we are around average. And then but meanwhile, which is the white line, that stays around the long-term 30-year average all the way through. That's masking a lot of scatter, though. However, I think the GFS ensembles have shifted a little bit towards a milder side this morning. You have, once again, the GFS operational run, which is this thick green line for the 6Z. That is like the mildest option, so that's at the extreme end of the range. However, I think there are now more mild options for Christmas and beyond than there are cold options. I think the cold options are like the fewer in number. And you remember a couple of days ago, it's actually the cold options were favoured and the milder options were fewer. So I think there's definitely been a shift there. And it's just happened on the 6Z, I think. The 6Z ensembles have shifted quite a bit towards the milder side. Although for Christmas itself, maybe a few, you know, still looking quite cold then. But you know, the ensembles will shift around at times. You think it's only operational runs that swing wildly, but sometimes sometimes you will find that the ensembles themselves will shift in this kind of pattern. So they might start shifting back to colder. They might go even milder, but it's a real mess, you know, what's happening there beyond, say, the 22nd, 23rd of December. What we can say, precipitation-wise, is going to be a lot of dry weather over the next few days. It looks like getting more unsettled over Christmas, and of course, that's the uncertainty. Is that unsettled weather bringing milder weather from off the Atlantic, or is it going to actually bring in something colder, or will it battle with colder weather and produce some wintry weather? So, you know, very, very uncertain situation. From sea level pressure, we see there is a reduction in pressure going on, or going to go on over next week, starting at 1,040 millibars, and then a slow and gradual drop in pressure taking place as we get towards Christmas and beyond it, going down to around 1,000 millibars then. And as far as the overall temperatures are concerned, it looks like this. So clearly there's a drop in temperature takes place from now through to there, which is like running up towards Christmas. Then we've got a real split though, so a lot of these ensemble members are going quite mild around Christmas and after Christmas. We do still have these colder ones here, so it looks like we've got two clusters, really, a divergence. One cluster is going off up there and one cluster is going off down there. So, but again, I think the GFS ensembles have shifted for this 6Z suite towards the milder side of things, to be honest, around and beyond Christmas. Snow Row for Pembroke looks like that, and not much to be seen there, to be honest. Certainly, you know, up to Christmas looks mainly dry. Then after that, there's a few snow spikes, but not all that many of them. Ensemble data doesn't look, the GFS ensemble data doesn't look great for those that want a cold Christmas. Temperature anomalies from the 16th to 24th of December look like that. A little bit below average for southern and western areas, a little bit above average still for northern and eastern areas. Those will probably trend cooler over the next few days. Precipitation anomalies from the 16th to 24th of December going to be drier than average. The latest wind flow map from earth.nullschool.net shows that we're under a big area of high pressure, and we're still drawing in relatively mild air from the Atlantic into that area of high pressure. This is how the UK Met Euro looks for midnight on Sunday. Again, high pressure originating through the country and going northwards as well. That high pressure still dominating weather as going to open next week, centred to the north of Scotland. Cold air pulling down on the eastern side of that area, low pressure into northern Europe, on the east side of high pressure, I should say, into northern Europe. Tuesday through to Wednesday, high pressure weakens, but it's still dominating weather. Will get colder into that area of high pressure. And then as we get to, like, this time next week, which is midnight on the 23rd of December, we look poised there. We bring low pressure in from off the Atlantic, but we have got blocking around Greenland and Iceland. So will this low pressure just roll in and bring us a mild and wet Christmas, or will this high pressure over Scandinavia push out cold air from northern Europe? And, you know, on the boundary between cold and mild air, there could be some snow as well. Looks quite interesting, that, as we run up towards the Christmas period. This is how the GFS midnight run is looking. Again, high pressure dominates the weather on Sunday. Go through to the early part of next week. Again, lots of high pressure in control of the weather. We'll be turning colder through the early part of next week with increasing risk of frost and fog. High pressure begins to weaken as we get through to Thursday next week, with the high pressure to the northeast, low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic. And as we get to Christmas Day, we're sort of under a flabby ridge. A ridge has collapsed and gone down to Germany, so we're bringing in like a gentle southerly. It's not a particularly mild southerly though. It's probably frosty and cold for Christmas, but not wintry, you know, not like easterly winds and snow showers coming in from the east, like the GFS 6Z was showing yesterday, for example. So this is just generally cold, dry and frosty for Christmas Day. And then beyond it goes milder as we draw up this southerly wind and low pressure starts coming in from off the Atlantic. Notice again the GFS is having a go at game of high pressure back to Scandinavia, but you know, lots of messing about going on, and overall turning milder, wetter and windier with the GFS midnight run from Christmas up to New Year. That's as far as we get to the GFS today, which is to the 1st of January, New Year's Day, when we're still looking Atlantic driven and not overly cold. This is how the GFS 6Z is looking, very latest again. High pressure ridges through the country, brings lots of dry weather through the early part of next week. It will be quite cold, and an air of high pressure too. Has a go at setting up Scandinavian high around the 22nd of December just there, but then lowers the heights very quickly. The heights start to collapse southwards, and so by the time we get through to Christmas Eve, we're already bringing milder air into Scotland, Northern Ireland, England and Wales. Will be mainly dry, cold and frosty. And then the high pressure just sort of slips away to the south, and in comes these milder west-south westerly winds for Christmas Day. And that gives us a relatively mild Christmas, Day, and into Boxing Day as well. But it goes even milder than that between Christmas and New Year as we draw up this big old southwesterly wind. Still mainly dry, lots of high pressure in the south, some unsettled weather in the north. The main thing though is Christmas to New Year looks very mild there on the GFS 6F. We did see on the ensemble graph, if we go back to here, we can see on the ensemble graph that is like at the very warmest end of the range of options up here. But nevertheless, quite a few of these options now in the GFS ensembles are moving towards a milder outcome. Right, so that's the GFS data done. Let's have a look at the GM. If you're enjoying the video, please can you smash the like button. Make sure you sub to the channel. It'll get us to 12.9k if you can do that. And drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. That's the GM. Again, high pressure is in over the country on Sunday. Through the early part of next week, again, got this ridge through the country going northwards, so lots of dry weather and becoming quite cold with frost and fog. Then the GM tries to weaken the ridge off and move lower pressure in from off the Atlantic, but different to what the GFS is showing, in that the low pressure really struggles as it tries to move in from the Atlantic, coming against this high pressure to the northeast. And actually that low pressure just slides through the country, so that's midnight on Christmas Eve, the low pressure going in that sort of direction, which is maintaining relatively cold weather in from the east with the GM. So the GM is keeping us cold up to Christmas Day. That is Christmas Day. Again, we've got another area of low pressure trying to get in from off the Atlantic here, but that one also is being blocked by the heights to the northeast. Notice much stronger with that high pressure to the northeast compared to what the GFS is showing for Christmas Day, where it's collapsing it down into Germany and to the Alps. So this keeps us cold. It keeps wind in from a east to southeasterly direction. With this wet weather in the west, there may even be a little bit of snow on the leading edge of that. And the GM keeps us cold right way up to day 10, which is midnight on Boxing Day, still with that ridge. Both slipping south a little bit, but by then, still keeps us cold. So not particularly snowing with the GM, but definitely a cold Christmas with the GM. So the GM is still in the cold camp. GFS is in the milder camp for Christmas. And then we've got the ECM looking like this. Again, high pressure dominates the weather on Sunday, and that high pressure end reaches northwards into the early part of next week. And high pressure is maintained to the north, right way through to the end of next week. That's Thursday, 23rd of December, Christmas Eve. Nice blocking around Greenland, Iceland. No collapse of the ridge into Germany. The high pressure is maintained through there. Very cold air, of course, plunging southwards across the northern Europe. And as we go to Christmas itself, we actually start to pick up a proper easy. That's Christmas Eve. Again, lots of blocking within high latitudes. Very cold air across northern Europe. That cold air being fed towards us by those easterly winds. There's the upper air temperatures looking cold across the country on Christmas Eve. And that's Christmas Day, and that's the most interesting chart of the day, of course, of the morning runs anyway. I don't know what tonight's runs will show, but that's definitely the most interesting chart of the day for Christmas Day of this morning, of this morning's runs. You know, high pressure is well and truly maintained around Greenland and Iceland, and we're bringing in a proper easterly wind. That easterly would be driving in snow showers to particularly eastern parts of the country. Upper air temperature bringing minus 10 Celsius isotherm into Scotland. There is a little area of low pressures towards the southeast as well. That might enhance the showers for more southern and eastern areas. And that's as far as we get to midnight on Boxing Day, 26th December. And again, proper easterly winds. Very, very interesting ECM, but does look a little bit isolated this morning with this idea. So it's not saying it's wrong, but it does look rather isolated with the other model output. But proper easterlies and a real easterly blast there with the ECM. And again, we're still bringing minus 10 Celsius across the North Sea into eastern parts of the country. So very, very interesting ECM. And if you want a cold and wintry Christmas, and who doesn't? I suppose some people don't. But if you want a cold and wintry Christmas, then the ECM is still, still showing that. At the moment, that might change when the 12Z runs update later. But for now, this morning or early afternoon, the ECM is still well and truly in the cold camp. And the GM is also to some degree. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Tibetcho.com. Lots and lots of dry weather over the next few days, but then as we pick up that easterly wind, start to bring some wintry showers into the east, and may get more widespread. This is 6 in the morning on Christmas Day, with plenty of snow showers piling into the east and the northeast. On those easterly winds, and the snow showers get more widespread through the course of Christmas Day. So, won't take the areas of snow too literally. In this situation with an easterly flow like that, most anywhere could get snow, but the most likely areas, of course, would be in the west. But snow around on Christmas Day with another of those ECM runs. So these are the options on the table within the ECM Ensembles today board day 10, which gets us to Boxing Day. 16 members of the ECM Ensembles, including control and the operation run, have this big blocking area of high pressure between Greenland, Scandinavia. Low pressure is to the south and winds are in from a cold easterly direction, driving in most easterlies. I bring snow showers to eastern areas. Number 14 just here again with high pressure blocking, but a little bit further northwestwards, allowing something perhaps slightly less cold into the south, but northern areas would still be cold with that, with winds in from the east. 9 just here have high pressure blocking to the north with low pressure to the south, so they're just bringing like a cold easterly, really, and that could deliver snow showers to eastern areas, of course. We've got 7 down here, but a milder and wetter, so this is kind of like the GFS is doing, really. The low pressure through here, bring the air in off the Atlantic, so that's a milder, wetter option, despite the fact there is northern blocking that's going on as well. And then 5 again with high pressure. So all options have high pressure in the high latitudes. So how strong the Atlantic is, where it can override it. This option here also is overriding that blocking and bringing low pressure in above the Atlantic. Therefore, it's also a milder solution. I think overall, though, the options within the ECM ensembles are still favouring a cold outcome. The 16, the 14 and the 9, you know, all favours colder outcomes. These 2 down here are milder, that's 7 and 5. So the majority option is still for cold for around the Christmas period. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This gets us to New Year's Eve, 31st of December. 18 members of the ECM ensemble keep cold weather going. Blocking again around Greenland. Low pressure to the south, winds in from the east. That's keeping things cold and wintry. 13, lowering blocking around Greenland a little bit, allowing more of influence of the Atlantic. That's a milder, wetter option. 12 with a proper Scandinavian high and easterly wind. So that is a very cold New Year, of course. And then 8, milder with high pressure over France, low pressure to the northwest, and winds coming in from the southwest. Again, just what the GFS operations are doing for that New Year period. So it's all to be revealed, but the ECM ensembles along this operational run look to be favouring like a cold Christmas. GFS and its ensembles have clearly wobbled big time about all of this. And as far as the New Year is concerned, I think, you know, we just got to wait and see what happens over Christmas first. But CFS ET finally, and then we're done. These are 500 millibar heights bring down to week periods. The first week period will take us from the 16th to 22nd of December. Excuse me, the coming week will have high pressure dominating the weather, and although starting off mild, will become cooler. Week 2 is going to be the 23rd to 29th of December. High pressure goes north, and in come those cold easterly winds. So still cold for Christmas with the CFS V2. Week 3 is the 30th of December to 5th of January. High pressure then between Greenland and between Greenland and Scandinavia, Iceland and Scandinavia. Winds would still be in from the northeast with that, so that looks like it should still be quite cold. And then week 4 is going to be the 6th to 12th of January. High pressure to our northwest, low pressure east to the south. We're still bringing in wind from probably cold northeast direction. So it looks like the CFS is maintaining cold weather, you know, through Christmas and up to New Year. CFS is normally the Grinch model, which wants it mild all of the time, but today it's the GFS that's the Grinch model, really, and the CFS, you know, doesn't look too bad, really, from a cold perspective. Temperature anomalies with the CFS E2 for week 1, 16th, 22nd of December, milder than average. Temperature anomalies for week 2, colder than average over Christmas, so still going for a cold Christmas with the CFS, 23rd, 29th of December, below average temperature. Look how mild it is across America for Christmas. And most of Europe as well, looking cold as well for week 2. Week 3 does go a little bit milder. I can't understand why that would happen, really, based on the 500 millibar high anomaly, but anyway, we'll go with that. 30th of December to 5th of January actually goes a bit milder. And then week 4, the cold comes back, 16th to the 22nd of January. I have no idea why week 3 would go milder, really, based on this anomaly here. Where are we? Just there. Based on that anomaly, I have no idea why that should go milder than average. Particularly, you'd think that with the high pressure sort of centre there, we would still be pulling in the wind from a cold east or north-east direction. So I don't know what's happening there with the CFS. But anyway, more or less, I think it's still going quite cold over Christmas and into January as well. But remember, the GFS in particular has wobbled, and its ensembles have wobbled quite a bit as well. So it's all to be revealed, it's all to play for, it's on a knife edge, we shall see, and time will tell. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button, make sure you're sub to the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. Drop a comment and something about this at all of our videos. I'm expecting we might get to 12.9k at some point in the next 24 hours, and when we do, we will start taking people's names for the prize draw through Discord, and you can email them as well. More about that when we hit 12.9k. However, that's it for day 10 to 14 day. I may do a quick 12Z roundup this evening, depends what time I've got, but I might do like a short 5-10 minute video this evening, just very quickly zipping through the 12Z, and we shall see. Will the ECM wobble as well? That's the last one left to wobble, so will the ECM have a wobble tonight? We'll find out a little bit later on. But for today's 10 to 14 day, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.